Hey everyone, just wanting to come back and give another episode of one of the ones that I had been talking about. So, looking at what our spend looks like for these different congressional groups, and just really kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what everything looks like, where the race stands currently today, and as far as the money goes, which statistics and research would say has kind of been a good indication of where all the spending is and how that's going to impact the election. Usually, it indicates that those who spend the most money and raise the most money typically are the ones who can win the election and have cash on hand and all that kind of good stuff to make the final push. And then next, I think it's a little over 30 days, maybe a little less than 40, um, before the election. So wanting to talk about this and just some of the reports and everything like that I have. Some of these haven't been updated, as you can see here, through June 30th, but I think most of these numbers have kind of stayed on hand and still followed the general trend. I think one of the things that we do see that for me typically stands out is that the Democrats have raked in more money from the party committees. Um, so this is the actual affiliated ones, and then what that cash on hand looks like at the end of June was kind of about the same. So I think maybe these aren't the most accurate. So going into say something like this, where we can look at the campaign committees, national parties, and others, we can kind of see that the campaign committees for Kamala um, have definitely have a significant advantage for the cash on hand that they have at the end of August 30th first. Now, that isn't entirely indicative of where it is now, and that's kind of what sucks about having these reports is they're at the end of every month. So we should have one coming out here soon, and I think this will be a good indication of where things have shifted, especially what the second to last month of the election is going to look like. So I think what we can see, and like I said, I think these follow the general trend, is that Kamala's campaign does have more cash on hand than Trump, and that's kind of confirmed by the Forbes article we'll talk about here soon. But I think one thing that's also really important, that isn't necessarily here, but I think is that you can kind of see, and like I said, I think these kind of follow the same general trend, is that, you know, I think my prediction would be that the the House of Representatives will probably shift more back to the Democrats. I think that's their races to lose. Whereas the Senate, where you can see more money has been piled in, um, has really kind of been um, where I think Republicans are going to come back and kind of hit them, especially because the map plays in their advantage. Um, However, with the DNC and some of these other ones, it kind of follows that trend. However, going back into kind of what the race looks like, um, they're talking about, there's this huge campaign uh, uh, boost from all this money coming in. I think what we'll end up seeing is that the super PACs and some of the research that I've seen is the super PACs are going to obviously benefit the Republicans, and the Harris campaign is definitely having some money. I think what is going to be interesting to see is um, where is that going to land with how they've been able to spend it. I think kind of given where these campaign dollars are, I would say that I think the House will go to the Democrats, the Senate will go to the Republicans, and based off the way things are looking here, I almost want to say I think the advantage is definitely towards the Democrats on winning the presidential. I think Trump hasn't really gone out there and has raised as much money. Now I have my own theories as to why I think a lot of that is, but I think that Kamala's definitely been able to outraise him. Now she also has higher overhead than Trump, but I think where Trump has really been hurt is going to be with those get out the vote operations and things like that. I work at one of the ones here in um, Georgia, and What I can tell you is that I have not seen anything from Republicans. I haven't heard anything from Republicans or anything like that. So I think the operation is definitely going to be more on the Democratic advantage, especially if they can turn out their voters, and get some buzz going. Um, I think that the Democrats are definitely going to be in the advantage. Like I said, I think they're race to lose as far as the presidential, and I think that where the Democrats are really going to be hurting themselves is in the Senate. Maybe they didn't anticipate Manchin dropping out, but Tester, he's kind of an iffy situation. Um, and then I think they might be able to keep all the other ones, but I think they'll lose that and go into like a 49-51 situation, unless they can kind of magically pull out something. So I think it'll be interesting to kind of see how all that happens and where everything will land. But I think as far as the financial side, I think Kamala is definitely in the driver's seat for this. Um, and I think she's definitely has the advantage in the polls and other things. I think if she can kind of raise a little bit more money, I think she'll be good. I think it's also going to be interesting to see kind of where Waltz comes in. So Harris had this huge fundraising boost after the debate. I think someone was saying they raised like $50 million in one day or something like that. Yeah, and $47 million in 24 hours after her debate. Um, so I think that's going to be good. I think for her, it's going to be how can we maintain this momentum and kind of really create a bigger divide between her and Trump in the next filings for the FEC. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Waltz debate, they could potentially generate a little bit of money. I could totally see them coming in and just trying to kind of do a little bit of what she did, where she had these very specific teed up lines that are going to get her some voters and get her some um, financials. And then as long as, Waltz kind of comes out at even or better than Vance, which I'll admit it will probably be a little bit more difficult than where Kama was at. I think we can see that if he ends up kind of being able to hold his own and do well, which I think he can, I think I've got a little bit more confidence in him being able to hold his own, just because he's really kind of been in the spotlight a little bit more. He's was out there doing a lot of these things. I think it's not a for sure. I think Vance has definitely been someone who has been prepped more, but um, I think that he's got more. What's the word? Material you can use against him compared to Waltz. So I think it's gonna be interesting. I think if he can come out, do well, maybe get a $20 million bump, and then really kind of hit home the fundraising. I think they'll be okay. Um, so yeah, so I think that's how everything's gonna kind of turn out. Um, I still think, even though Kamala, I think from as far as the numbers go, it really kind of depends on where you look. So I think for when it comes to the campaign dollars, I think she's definitely in the driver's seat. I think for the polls, I think she's got some good momentum. But I think with things going on in the Middle East, I think that can definitely bring her down a little bit. Because she's going to get blamed for Biden stuff. She's going to get the hit from Biden and all this other kind of stuff. So I think for them, if they can kind of just stabilize something over there for the next month and a half, I think that can really help her out. On the converse, I think that's kind of what Trump needs is he needs to kind of show, hey, look, there's still more of this um, randomness, more of this instability in the region because of the policies over there that he'll blame the Biden administration on. So I think it'll just kind of be interesting. I think it's still uncertain on where things are, but I think the funding is definitely something that's really big for Kamala. Um, and it seems to be a significant amount. But one thing I will say is when you talk to people, they usually will kind of say, "Oh, well, look how much cash on hand that she has," which is 100% true. But if you go to, some of these, the RNC and some of these other groups, I think you'll see that a lot of these other super PACs that aren't going to be listed here are going to be able to kind of throw some money out there. Um, for like labor, they've got a bunch of cash on hand, but corporate, they've got a lot of cash on hand as well. So it's really going to be interesting to kind of see where everything kind of lands. But yeah, so I think so far so good for Harris, but she definitely doesn't have the lead that she wants. I think this will probably end up being another Biden 2020 um, election where it's going to be close. It's going to be really kind of where are the wins and everything like that. So that's kind of where what I have for today. I'm gonna, keep trying to put some stuff out as I can. I kind of got stuck in the hurricane, so I wasn't able to kind of put a lot of stuff out there. But I think it's really going to be interesting to see kind of what this news does, especially with um, Hezbollah and Israel. That's something I've thought about kind of doing a little bit, um, and definitely something not great for Israel, but also not great for the United States. So that might be the next video. Who knows? But yeah. So far, that's what I've got, and yeah. So I hope everyone has a great day and is staying safe. Thanks. Bye.